Open the eyes of the soul. There is a reality beyond form waiting to be recognized by you. The call has come, and it comes from within. There are moments that cannot be explained. Moments when routine unravels before a strange sensation, as if everything that once made sense begins to lose its shine. What once seemed solid starts to become questionable, and that which was invisible begins to pulse intensely. This subtle rupture marks the beginning of something sacred, spiritual awakening. You may be right now experiencing this call. You might be feeling an unnamed discomfort, a deep fatigue, a silent urge to withdraw from the noise to listen to what the heart has to say. Perhaps you are more sensitive, more intuitive, more connected to feelings and perceptions that cannot be translated into words. This is the threshold. It is the transition point between the old self, conditioned, anxious, distracted, and the new being that begins to be born, guided by a higher consciousness, more lucid, more connected to the totality of life. And in this silent and sacred process, an ancient force awakens within you, the third eye. Known for millennia by spiritual traditions of the East and West, the third eye is not a poetic metaphor. It is a real center of spiritual perception, also called the Ajna chakra, located between the eyebrows. It is the seat of intuition, inner vision, expanded consciousness. Through it, we begin to see what the physical eyes cannot capture. The energy behind matter, the intention behind words, the spirit behind forms. At first, the awakening of the third eye can be subtle. A slight pressure in the center of the forehead. A feeling of seeing with the heart. Vivid dreams. Unexplainable intuitions. Déjà vu sensations. A certainty without rational logic. These are the first signs that the soul is taking the helm, that the rational mind is yielding space to something deeper, wiser, truer. But for the third eye to fully open, something must die. Illusion. The veil covering reality must begin to unravel. And this does not happen without pain. Allow yourself to pass through the dark night of the soul. Every expansion begins with a rupture. If you feel like you are breaking, perhaps you are just being reborn. During the awakening, it is common to feel lost. Old beliefs no longer serve. Relationships change. Ambition loses meaning. Distractions lose their appeal. You begin to distance yourself from people, places, routines that once filled your days. Not because you are isolating yourself, but because you are finding yourself. And the reunion with oneself demands silence, demands space, demands courage. It is in this inner space, sometimes lonely, that the third eye begins to pulse stronger. It activates spiritual clarity. It starts to reveal the truth behind the surface. You begin to perceive hidden intentions in speeches, the energy in unspoken words, repetitive patterns that once went unnoticed. Everything is revealed. Everything shows itself. And along with this new vision, a responsibility is born, to sustain the truth that is revealed. Because seeing with the third eye is to see the world from the inside out. It is to realize that the reality we see is not fixed, but a reflection of our internal states. It is to understand that we are creators of experiences, and that our vibration determines what we attract, what we feel, what we manifest. This understanding changes everything. The person who awakens spiritually begins to move away from drama, reactivity, victimhood. They understand that they are not here merely to survive, pay bills, and accumulate achievements. They recognize that they are here to learn, serve, heal, expand. That life is a sacred school, and that every challenge carries a lesson. That every pain is an initiation. That every encounter has a purpose. And with this new awareness, a new way of living is born. Awaken with courage. See with depth. Live with purpose. The third eye is not an end. It is the portal to your true beginning. Living with the third eye open is living present, full, conscious. It is inhabiting the now with internal senses activated. It is feeling the world with the skin of the soul. It is perceiving that everything communicates. The winds, the glances, the silences, the coincidences. You begin to notice synchronicities more often. A song that speaks exactly about what you were feeling. A book that appears at the right moment. An unlikely encounter. A phrase said by someone that seems directed straight to your heart. These synchronicities are not coincidence. They are answers. They are confirmations from the universe that you are aligned with your truth. That your third eye is catching the signs. That your soul is active, conscious, awake. But this new state of perception does not distance you from the world. On the contrary, it reconnects you to it in a more authentic way. You begin to choose more consciously what you consume, whom you relate to, where you place your energy. You learn to say no with love. You learn to be silent when necessary. You learn to follow your intuition even when it contradicts logic. And this inner listening becomes your compass, your guide. Intuition, this ancient gift linked to the third eye, ceases to be something vague and starts to be recognized as a higher intelligence. Not as a random hunch, but as a wisdom that comes from direct connection with the subtle field, with the invisible, with the divine. It is this that guides you along more aligned paths, that protects you from unnecessary experiences, that drives you forward even when everything seems uncertain. And with this refined listening, you begin to live in harmony with the cycles of life. If you have come this far, do not ignore the call. There is a new reality waiting to be lived by you. Breathe, be silent, and feel. Your soul is guiding you home. In the awakening process, many wonder, how do I know if my third eye is really open? The answer does not come in visual phenomena or spectacular sensations. Although these experiences can also happen, the answer lies in the way you live. Your third eye is opening when you start living with more presence, more awareness, more compassion. When you stop reacting impulsively and begin to respond with wisdom. When you look at someone and see beyond appearances, you see the pain, the light, the story, the soul. Your third eye is active when you begin to perceive that everything is interconnected. That what happens outside is a reflection of what is inside. That the world is not something that happens to you, but something that responds to your vibration. This level of consciousness is the true miracle of awakening. It is not about seeing spirits, colors, or auras. Although that can happen. The true miracle is seeing the world with empathy. It is feeling the sacred in simple gestures. It is understanding that everything is an expression of the One, the Source, God, the universe. Call it what you will. And even more, it is realizing that this One also dwells within you. When the third eye opens, separation dissolves. You no longer see yourself as a body separate from others, but as a spark connected to the whole. This understanding changes your way of loving, acting, existing. You stop seeking outside what can only be found within. Honor this process. Awakening is not a destination. It is a journey. And the third eye is the vision that guides you through it step by step from the inside out. There will be days when the path seems dark. There will be moments of doubt, fatigue, loneliness. But in those moments, trust. The third eye does not close completely once it opens. It just rests, observes, recalibrates. Because even light needs shadow to shine more intensely. Awakening is a spiral, not a straight line. Sometimes you will move forward. Other times it may seem like you are going back. But with each turn you will be deeper, more mature, more conscious. And each revealed layer will bring new understandings, new liberations, new gifts. Over time, you will realize that your greatest mission is not to be perfect, enlightened, or immune to the pains of the world. Your mission is to be true. To live with integrity. To sustain the light even when everything around invites escape. To look with the third eye, and through it love with the awakened heart. This is true spiritual service. It is not about distancing yourself from the world, but transforming the world through your own transformation. It is illuminating the space you occupy with your conscious presence. It is being a point of peace, healing, and lucidity in the midst of chaos. And this is the gift of awakening, the ability to see, feel, transform, not external reality but the inner reality that shapes everything around. Now close the eyes of the body, and open the eyes of the soul. What you seek is already within. What you feel is real. What you see with the heart is the truth. You are not alone in this process. Thousands, perhaps millions, of souls around the planet are awakening, each in their own way, each in their own time. There is a change underway, a new level of consciousness emerging. And if you are reading these words, it is because you are part of this wave. You are a point of expanding light, a being awakening, a soul returning to its origin. Your third eye is just the portal, the passage to this new reality. Now everything depends on your surrender, on your daily choice to trust, to feel, to follow the inner truth. Even when the world seems confusing, even when doubt whispers, even when pain comes to visit. Because the truth is this: awakening hurts, but living asleep hurts more. Choose truth. Choose to see. Choose to walk with the eyes of the soul open. And remember, once the third eye opens, the path of consciousness can never be forgotten. Only deepened, only expanded, only lived.